I'm going to talk about it. Welcome. I just wanted to take a few seconds. Please keep talking and ignore me if you want, but I'm just going to talk for a bit, be part of the entertainment. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Winter Harbor Music Festival and then pass over to Celine, who will talk a little bit about this event. The Winter Harbor Music Festival was founded in 2009, so even though you might not have heard of us, we've been around here for a while over in Winter Harbor. We started as just a week-long chamber music festival incorporating musicians of all ages and levels of development into chamber groups. Then in 2017, I founded the Winter Harbor Music Festival Community Opera, and this is sort of this program tonight is kind of a branch of that community opera where we're going to present some opera scenes. The community opera had the same mission statement as the festival itself of, bringing together people of different levels, different ages, and different experiences. And that's kind of what we have carried on with the opera and with the scenes and with all of our program. In addition, we've also expanded to year-round concerts. You can see we have a schedule over in the front. And please take some of those flyers as you enjoy pizza and beer. There's some information about us and some of the stuff that we do, and some information about how to give back and help the arts, support the arts. So I'm going to pass over to Celine to talk a little bit about Fogtown and this event.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are so nice. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It is lovely to meet you. For the people that I do not already know, it is lovely to see familiar faces here. I just want to talk a little bit about how we came up with the idea for this concert. I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about the singers that you're here tonight, a little bit about the music. I'll be introducing the pieces, and then the singers will introduce themselves as well and speak to you a little bit about their pieces. But my name is Celine Mogielnicki. I came on very recently in May as the associate director, and I came on specifically to join the team that is developing the opera. That is my background. I'm a soprano. So I will be where I've been working with the singers. I'm also performing a cameo in the opera. We'll talk about that a little later. I've also participating in the chamber music concerts we have this week in Hammond Hall, tomorrow evening and Friday evening. But this event really came about because we wanted to reach out more to our community here. And Deiran and I spent the winter up here in Maine throughout COVID. And there was a particular beer that we both started drinking. It's called the Night Nurse.
Which is on draft tonight. I encourage you all to try it.
Which recently I saw on Instagram won the silver medal in the New York International Beer Competition, which is pretty cool. And we decided that it would be really awesome to try and reach out to John and see if maybe there was some chance to collaborate a little bit. And John happens to also be a huge music lover, and we came up with this idea. So this evening, during these hours, 10% of the beer sales will be donated to the Winter Harbor Music Festival. And I want to thank you, Sarah and John, who is back there manning the pizza oven. Speaking of pizza, they have also very generously fired up their oven for us tonight. And since we are all very excited about their pizza, please, you have to try it. You can order at the bar. We highly recommend it. It's delicious. And there's that. So we're going to hear a collection of opera arias and opera scenes. So it means that there'll be a little bit of moving around on this platform, but it's really just a chance to introduce you to some really beautiful, fun, interesting music, and to feel free to get to know us a little bit. We don't bite. Opera is not an annoying, stodgy, old, inaccessible art form. It's actually very fun and interesting. So with that, I think we will get started. We're going to hear first from Josh Gurwitz, tenor, and Deiran on piano.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Gurwitz. Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Gurwitz. I'm a tenor. I'm working here with Deiran Manning today. Today I will be singing Questa e Quella from Rigoletto. If you don't know, Rigoletto is about the rise and fall, quite literally, of a court jester. Today I will be playing the role of the Count. The Count is sort of in some ways, a secondary character. He moves the plot along in how he consumes things and, unfortunately, people. And this aria is about that. So, without further ado. Questo quella per me pari sono alquant'altre d'intorno mi vedo del mio cuore l'impero non cedo del mio Duna che ho l'altra beltà la costora Venezia quel dono di quel vato in fiore la vita Soci questa mi torna grandita che forse un'altra, domani lo sarà un'altra, forse un'altra, domani lo sarà. La costanza tirana del cuore detestiamo quel morbo crudele so ci vuole si serve ferele non va amor se non v'è libertà che mariti il geloso furore dell'imandi le smanie del rido Anco d'arco, i 100 che sfilo, se mi punge, una qualche beltà, se mi punge, una qualche beltà.
Next, we're going to have a little taste of Gilbert and Sullivan. I'm going to let Deiran actually introduce that because he's.
I'm going to see if we can get our pianist over here, Sasha. Oh, you got okay. While I talk a little bit, we'll get this set up. So, you might be asking, why is Gilbert and Sullivan on an opera program? Gilbert and Sullivan is an opera, but that's actually wrong. Gilbert and Sullivan is closer to opera than a lot of things. It's operetta, which is basically opera, lighter opera with spoken dialogue. And actually, Trial by Jury, for those of you who know Gilbert and Sullivan a little bit, is technically an opera. There is no spoken dialogue in Trial by Jury. All of the plot is advanced through singing. And this particular piece is a scene, so you'll hear me sing something, and then I'll be joined by two lords coming to console me. I'll give you a bit of the background of the plot, but you do hear some operatic elements in it. The opening is a dramatic accompanied recitative, and recitative is something in opera which advances the plot. It's sung dialogue, essentially. So this is basically a monologue, the opening of the Lord Chancellor, who is torn up because of the fact that he has fallen in love for one of his wards, meaning that because he is the Lord Chancellor, he has all of these wards and is responsible for all these young girls, but he has fallen for one of them, which presents a problem on many levels, but not one of them. But another of the problems has formed because that ward is now engaged to two lords, who you will see come down to try to console him. And these two lords don't really want to be engaged to this ward. They all did have feelings for her, but then they realized, what's the point of all of the lords being engaged to her? It doesn't make any sense. So they're trying to pawn her off on him with this trio where they tell him to go confront himself about this issue, to go talk to himself and try to solve the problem with himself. So there's a lot of split roles in this. But, okay. Love unrequited robs me of my rest. Love, hopeless love, my heart and soul encumbers. Love, nightmare-like, lies heavy on my chest, and weaves itself into my midnight slumbers. When you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tempered by anxiety, I conceive you may use any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety. For your brain is on fire, the bedclothes conspire of usual slumber to plunder you. First your counterpane goes and uncovers your toes, and the sheet slips immediately from under you. Then the blanketing tickles, you feel like Nick Pickles, so terribly sharp is the prickling. And you're hot and you're cross and you tumble and toss till there's nothing tricks you in the ticking. Then the bedclothes all creep to the ground in a heap, and you pick them all up in a tangle. Next your pillow resigns and politely declines to remain at its usual angle, where you get some repose in the form of a doze with her eyeballs and head ever aching. But your slumbering teasers such horrible dreams that you very much better be waking. For you dream you are crossing the channel and tossing about on a steamer from Harwich, which is something between a large bathing machine and a very small second-class carriage. And you're giving a treat penny ice and cold meat to a party of friends and relations. They're a ravenous horde, and they all came on board at Sloane Square and South Kensington Station. And bound in that journey you find your attorney. He started that morning from Devon. He's a bit undersized, and you don't feel surprised when he tells you he's only 11. Where you're driving like mad with this singular lad. By the by, the ship's now a four-wheeler, and you're playing round games, and he calls you bad names when you tell him the tie's been the dealer. But this you can stand, so you throw up your hand, and you find you're as cold as an icicle. In your shirt and your socks have black soap and gold clock socks, and he sounds very plain on a bicycle. And he and the crew are on bicycles too, which they've somehow or other invested in. And he's telling the tars of the particulars of a company he's interested in. It's a scheme of devices to get at low prices, or goods from cough mixtures to cables, which tickle the sailors by treating retailers as though they were all vegetables. You get a good spadesman to plant a small transfer, take off his boots with a boot tree, and his legs will take root and his fingers will shoot and then blossom and bud like a fruit tree. From the green grocer tree you get grapes and green peas, cauliflower, pineapple and cranberries, and the pastry bread, cherry brandy, will grand apple puffs and three-quarters and cranberries. The shares are a penny, and ever so many are taken by Rothschild and Baring, and just as a few are allotted to you, you awake with a shudder despairing. You're a regular wreck with a crook in your neck, and no wonder you snore for your heads on the floor, and you've needles and pins, and your soles and your shins, and your flesh is a creep for your left leg, a sleep, and your crab on your toes, and your flying nose has a fluff in your lung, and a feverish tongue, and a thirst is intense, in a general sense you haven't been sleeping in clover. But the darkness is past, and it's daylight at last, and the night has been long. Ditto, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them over.
We are most distressed to see your lordship in this condition.
Ah, my lords, it is seldom that a Lord Chancellor has reason to envy the position of another, but I am free to confess that I would rather be 2 earls engaged to Phyllis than any other half-dozen noblemen upon the face of the globe.
Yes, it's an enviable position when you're the only one.
Yes, most enviable, but at the same time, seeing you thus, we naturally say to ourselves, this is very sad. His lordship's constitution is as blithe as a bird. He trills upon the bench like a thing of song and gladness. His series of judgments in a sharp minor, given andante in 6/8 time, are some of the most remarkable effects ever produced in the court of chancery. Oh, how could we deprive? Oh, he is probably the only example of a living judge whose decrees have earned the honor of a double encore. How could we deprive the court of chancery of one of its most attractive features?
I feel the force of your remarks, gentlemen, but I am here in 2 capacities, and they clash, my lords, they clash. I deeply regret to say that in declining to entertain my last application to myself, I proceeded to address myself in terms which render it impossible for me ever to apply to myself again. It was a most painful scene, my lords, most painful.
This is what it is to have two capacities. Let us be thankful that we are men of no capacity whatever.
Come, come. You are a just and kindly old gentleman, and you need not hesitate in approaching yourself, as long as you do so with respectability and a proper show of deference.
Do you really think so?
Oh, I do.
Well, I will nerve myself to another effort, and if that fails, I resign myself to my fate.
If you go in, you're sure to win. Yours will be the charming lady. Be the law the ancients saw. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, never, never faint heart never won fair lady. Every journey has an end, where the worst affairs will mend. Dawn's the dawn when day is nigh. Hustle your horse and don't say die. He who shies at such a prize is not worth a man of 80. So kind to bear in mind, faint heart never won fair lady. Never, 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 faint heart never won fair lady. While the sunshine makes your hay, where's a will is there's a way. Bid the lion in his lair, none but the brave deserve the fair.
I'll take heart and make a start, though I fear the prospect shady. Much I'd spend to gain my end. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, 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 faint heart never won fair lady. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound, it's love that makes the world go round. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound, it's love that makes the world go round.
Thank you guys. It was lovely. So we're going to change eras now quite a bit. And I will be singing an aria from one of my favorite, if not perhaps my favorite opera, La Bohème, which you probably have heard of. And I'll be singing Mimi's first act aria. This is Si mi chiamano Mimi. This is a moment where she's met a young gentleman named Rodolfo. Maybe I'll make you Rodolfo, Josh.
Fair enough.
And they've fallen in love because they've seen each other. He's seen her in the moonlight, and she looks beautiful and mysterious, and he begs her to tell him more about who she is. So she is a little shy, and she's not sure how much to share with him, but she is very interested in getting to know him, and so she shares a little bit about who she is and what she does and opens her heart a little bit. So this is Si mi chiamano Mimi.
Lucia
rosa, ma prego assai il Signor. Vivo sola, soletta, là in una piaga come ritta, guardo sui tetti e in cielo. Ma quando vien lo sgelo, il primo sole mio, il primo bacio della il primo sole è mio. Germoglia in un vaso una rosa, foglia foglia la spio, così gentil il profumo del fior. Ma i fior ch'io faccio, ahimè, i fior ch'io faccio, ahimè, non hanno odore. Altro di me non le saprei narrare, solo la sua vicina che la viene fuori d'ora importunare. Thank you. And to end this little section, we're going to now have Brooke Daigle. She's going to be singing something from the American opera, The Ballad of Baby Doe. I'll let her introduce that. Yes, I'll move it. You talk.
Hello everyone, my name is Brooke Daigle. I'm originally from Newport, Rhode Island. I will be singing a Douglas Moore opera, American opera, as Celine said. It's called The Ballad of Baby Doe. Elizabeth Baby Doe Tabor was a real woman. She was the second wife of a wealthy American businessman during the height of the American Gold Rush. Her story is a riches to rags, rags to riches, back to rags situation. And I will be singing an aria called Dearest Mama. In this moment, Elizabeth Baby Doe is writing to her mother to confide in her that she's leaving her husband because she's fallen in love with somebody else. During this time, it was unheard of to divorce your husband, even if they were cheating on you or it was an unhappy marriage. So she became the town gossip. Almost, it was very Scarlet Letter. And so it was heartbreaking for her to leave what she knew to become this outcast, all because she loved a man. So without further ado, I will be singing Dearest Mama.
Dearest Mama, I am writing, for I'm lonely and distressed. who feel that way, they shouldn't stay together. Mama dear, you often told me that I was beautiful, and that my beauty deserved to find a man someday so rich, a man so powerful that he could give me anything and make me like a princess in olden days. And so I waited, hoping someday he would come. Dearest Mama, now I found him, and he loves me truly too. Every moment we're together, we both know it had to be. But dear Mama, he's not free to marry. It is wrong for us to feel the way we do. I know he needs me, and that I love him, but I have to give him up, and we must part forever.
Okay, we're going to take 15 minutes for you to get another round of beer if you so choose, and to order some pizza, and we will be back with more music. Thanks, guys. I wanted to make a couple reminders. First off is that we've got a table over here with information about our season, with information about how to get involved, a little bit about what we did over the course of the pandemic. We actually kept live music going in a socially distanced outdoor setting in the winter in Maine, which is crazy because Deiran felt that it was extremely important to continue to bring music to people, especially during crazy COVID. So you can read a little bit about that. We have a newsletter. You can also get involved. We're looking to form an advisory board. So if you have any interest in that, you can speak to us, as well as donations. We have a little tin there, and we also have a link on our website so that you can donate through PayPal. We will now get back to some music, and we're going to have another English aria, another American aria, well, by a German composer, German-born composer, and Patrick will tell you all about that.
I don't know. I may just stand down here. Hi, I'm Patrick Payne. I'm from Washington, D.C., so it's been a little hike for me. I'll be singing a song from Street Scene, which is an American opera that was adapted for the Broadway stage. So just really basic history. Kurt Weill was a German composer who immigrated to America during the 1920s, and his music wasn't very well accepted in Germany, and unfortunately he told a lot of tragic stories, which is not what they wanted to hear over there at the time, but America was quite willing to hear the tragic stories and beautiful, beautiful, tearful things. And this opera is about 2 very hot days in Manhattan in 1946, and the multiple different families living in a poor tenement. So I'll be singing Sam Kaplan's role, and just now he has been rejected by his neighbors, by all of the neighborhood kids. They don't want him, but he just wants to do the right thing, always wants to stand up for somebody, regardless if he has the muscle to do so. And he's singing about how also he's yearning for the beautiful young daughter, Rose Morant, of his neighbors upstairs. So right now is a very hot, sweaty day in 1946. At night, when everything is quiet, this old house seems to breathe a sigh. Sometimes I hear a neighbor snoring. Sometimes I hear a baby cry. Sometimes I hear a staircase creaking. Sometimes a distant telephone. Then the quiet settles down again. The house and I are all alone. Lonely house, lonely me. Funny, with so many neighbors, how lonely it can be. Lonely street, lonely town. Funny, you can be so lonely with all these folks around. I guess there must be something I don't comprehend. Sparrows have companions, even stray dogs find a friend. The night for me is not romantic. I look at the stars and take them down. I'm lonely in this lonely house. In this lonely town.
Now we're going to switch gears completely to some French opera. We're going to hear a little bit of Romeo and Juliet. This is by Charles Gounod, and I'm pretty sure that this doesn't really need much introduction plot-wise. Fairly sure everybody knows the story of Romeo and Juliet. But this duet is going to be sung by Lena Molyneux, yeah, Lena, and Josh as our Romeo. And the opera is really built around the relationship between Romeo and Juliet, as you might expect. This particular duet comes in Act 1. This is right after the moment that Romeo has seen Juliet for the first time, and he's finally gotten alone with her, and they're having their first conversation and their first interaction, and they're realizing that there's something happening there. There's something special happening there. So, let's have some Romeo and Juliet, guys.
Ange adorable, ma main coupable, posée à l'oiseau touché, ma main divine, dont d'imaginer, nul n'a droit de pénitence, il convient de m'imposer que j'efface l'indigne trace de ma main par un baiser.
Calmez vos craintes, assez étreintes, vivez les robes prosternées, les saints de même, pour vous qu'élève, rendant votre mais à sa bouche, la main qu'il touche, prudemment doit refuser. Et des caresses enchanteresses qu'il implore en baiser.
Les saintes emportant une bouche fermée,
Priez seulement,
n'entendant elle voix, là-bas qui le conseille, un arrêt plus clément.
prière d'amour, restons sensibles, aimant les exaucants.
Exaucez donc mes vœux, regardez impassible votre front rougissant.
Je n'ai pris mon défendre, j'ai pris le péché pour moi.
Pour apaiser votre émoi, vous plaît-il de la me rendre?
Non, je l'ai pris, laissez-le-moi.
Vous n'avez pris, rendez-le-moi. Vous n'avez pris, laissez-le-moi.
Non, je l'ai pris, laissez-le-moi.
Rendez-le-moi.
Okay. So now we're going to have an aria that is very, very, very well known from an opera that is not very well known. This is Rusalka by Antonin Dvorak, who is not really known as an opera composer, but this one particular opera is essentially The Little Mermaid in Czech. And Celeste is going to be singing the song to the moon. I'll let her introduce herself and say a little bit about the aria.
Hello everyone, I'm Celeste Mittelhauser. I'm from Goldsboro, Maine, just a little ways away. And thank you. Yes, this aria is Song to the Moon from the opera Rusalka. And this aria is sung by the character Rusalka, who is a water nymph. And she has fallen in love with this prince who she's seen out hunting in the forest around her pond. And she's speaking directly to the moon and, you know, and wishing that she could see him again and wondering if he ever thinks of her. In the rest of the opera, things don't go so well. You know, she trades her voice in order to become human to try to win his love, and it doesn't work, and he ends up dying, and she goes back into her pond, and it's all very sad. But this is earlier than that. This is when things are still hopeful.
Kasni, ach se to spomenkovs budi. Miezečku nezhasni, nezhasni, miezečku nezhasni.
And to close out this little set, we're going to now have a duet from The Marriage of Figaro. We are really excited that the operas for next year and for the following year are going to be part of the Beaumarchais trio. So next year we're going to be having Rossini's Barber of Seville, and following that will be The Marriage of Figaro. So here's a little taste, but this is a duet between the Countess, which will be sung by myself, and Lena, who will sing Susanna. And in The Marriage of Figaro, there's all kinds of crazy running around and trickery between the servants, Susanna and Figaro, and the aristocrats, the Count and the Countess. And essentially, the Count has been chasing after Susanna, which the Countess is very upset about. So together with Susanna, we conspire to swap costumes and to trick him to meet in the garden. And in this moment, the Countess is telling Susanna that we're going to write him a letter and we're going to tell him exactly where to meet in the garden. So they're conspiring together. Here. We'll take another break for you to refill your beers. Also, please feel free to sign up for our email mailing list to stay informed about concerts we've got coming up, our plans for next season.
And we have concerts all year, so it's not just next week.
Yeah, first Friday of every month. So we'll be back in 10 or 15. Well-known opera that you probably will recognize arias from. This particular duet is very well known. It's called Laci darem la mano. And Laurel McCloskey will be singing Zerlina. And Alex Grant will be singing Don Giovanni. He's going to tell you a tiny bit about what this duet is about and who Don Giovanni is. So come on up.
Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. So, in case you don't know who Don Giovanni is, that's probably good. Don Giovanni is, of course, to be as polite as possible, and also for the children, he is a sort of a murderous, womanizing jerk who, good, who has found his next victim, a lovely woman named Zerlina, who's about to get married to Mazzetto. Unfortunately, they're under the lordship of Don Giovanni, and Don Giovanni wants first dibs, of course, to which Mazzetto does not have too many fine words to say about, but fortunately, Don Giovanni doesn't care. So, this what's about to transpire now is the dialogue between Don Giovanni and Zerlina and their current conversation. Enjoy. Laci darem la mano, la mi dirai di sì. Venino e lontano, partiam ben mio da qui.
Vorrei, non vorrei, mi trema un poco il cor. Felice sarei, mi piaventarmi ancor, mi piaventarmi ancor.
Vieni no bediletto,
Mi fabito Mazzetto,
io cangerato forte.
adesso non son più forte, non son più forte, non son più forte.
Vieni, laci darem la mano.
Vorrei, non vorrei,
La mi dirai di sì,
mi trema un poco il cor.
facciam ben mio da qui.
Pupullarmi ancora.
Vieni no bediletto, io cangerato forte.
Non son più forte, non son più forte.
Andiam, andiam. Andiam, andiam, mio belle, son triste ora le penne, tua innocente amor. Andiam, andiam, mio belle, a ristorar le penne, tua innocente amor. Andiam,
Andiam,
andiam, andiam, mio bene Adam, tenti sorrisorà tuo innocente amor.
before I introduce Kate, our last solo singer tonight, I just want to take a moment to remind everybody that everything you've heard tonight is going to be, all the singers you've heard tonight are going to be singing at our opera. Deiran, you gave the dates, right?
Yes.
So they are all singing.
Reinforcement is always good.
Yes, they're all singing in the opera. They'll all be singing their individual roles. I just want to point out who is singing what role. So Brooke and Kate Wood will be singing Madame Hertz. Laurel will be playing Frau Scruple. Patrick will be playing Haigler, as well as Josh Gurwitz. Roland is our hair Scruple. We've also got Celeste and Lena singing Madame Silberklang. And our buffs, Alex and Deiran Manning. As well as a rather ridiculous cameo by me, which I will not go into. However, we're going to finish strong. We've got a solo aria now by Kate, and then we'll have a group number, and then we'll be done. So, Kate, I'll let you take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Kate Wood. I am in Maine, visiting from Boston. Today I'm going to be singing the doll song from the opera The Tales of Hoffmann. The opera is about a poet who meets three women who are his big love interests, one for each act. Olympia is his first love interest from the first act, which is the one I will be playing. She's actually an enchanted doll created by mad scientist Spallanzani, who's going to be played by my dear Patrick here. And this is the song that she sings to Hoffmann, the poet, to make him fall in love with her, essentially. So, come join me.
Les oiseaux dans la charmille, dans les yeux l'astre du jour.
be singing an appropriate toast that I'm sure you will all recognize from La Traviata. This is Libiamo. I would also encourage you to go ahead and get one more beer at the bar. Absolutely. Yeah, but we're going to toast, and then we'll be done with our singing. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And, feel free to give us some love over at the table here. We've got info. We've got an email list. And talk to us after. We'll be here. So this is Libiamo. Take your...
I have no eyebrows.
How do we do this? Does anybody want to go on that?
So I think you and I should be here.
All right. Everybody feel good?
Are we good?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Get your beers out.
Libiamo negli Lieti Calici che la bellezza infiora e là e fuggevo l'ora s'iniebria voluta Libiamo e dolci fremiti che suscita l'amore poiché quell'occhio al cuore onnipotente va Libiamo amore fra i calici più caldi baci avrà
Tra voi soprani venere demoni giocondo tutto in follia nel mondo ciò che non è piacer vogliamo cacir rapido il gallo dell'amore in fior che nasce muore ne più si può goder godiam ci invita fermi non cento lusinter
la tazza il cantico l'amore bella il viso in questo paradiso quando non sami ancora
vuol dire che l'ignora
è il mio destin così godiamo la tazza il cantico l'amore bella il riso in questo paradiso Gin!
yeah thank you everybody bow woo yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.